Hey there, I am Pronger Faulkner, for those who don't know me, and I'm here today with Amanda Ibbotson to talk about our collaboration book called Absolute Will, which was released in October 2021. Thank you for being here, Amanda.
Oh, you're welcome.
So the idea for this collaboration came to me earlier this year, actually back in January, as I was still working on my first book, and I kept allowing myself to get distracted with other things on my to-do list. You know how that is. We all have busy lives. And one of the things that I was trying to come up with was a good way to fundraise for a project that my fiance Mike and I want to do in Nicaragua. And eventually, months later, the urge to create an inspirational collaboration got so strong that I knew I needed to just get going on it. And I really wanted women from as many countries as possible from around the world to make this a global effort of inspiring others. And I wanted every story to have a health and willpower aspect to it. So when the idea came to me that a book collaboration would be a perfect way to fundraise, this book suddenly became my #1 priority to make it happen before the end of the year. Now, all of the profits from the author entry fees and the sales through the first month of our launch are going towards Mike and I building a house for a family in Nicaragua who doesn't have a home of their own. I'm so thrilled that we have 21 authors in this book, Amanda and me and 19 other amazing women from 7 countries around the world. Our authors are from Canada, the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, the United States, Australia, South Africa, and Bulgaria. And together we are sharing our personal, vulnerable, insightful, true stories of willpower when facing emotional and mental health crises, physical injuries, and disease. Now, this book is self-published and self-promoted by all of our authors, not done through a traditional publishing house. It's been a real grassroots effort, which makes what we've done with it so far all the more incredible. My first book became a bestseller in 2 categories, so I was pretty sure that we could do it with Absolute Will, especially after tweaking some of my marketing strategies, plus the fact that we would have a built-in book launch team with all 21 of us sharing about it. What I didn't expect was that we would hit #1 bestseller in 9 categories across 3 countries, Canada, the US, and Australia. We have also hit #1 new release in 31 categories across 4 countries, Canada, the US, Australia, and the UK. And that was just in the first few weeks after the book went live on Amazon. It's just incredible. The reviews so far on this book say that these stories are raw, real, sensitive, thought-provoking, heartwarming, life-changing, well-written, and that this book is a fantastic read. The stories are truly inspiring. Any reader can relate to these stories on some level. You feel a personal connection to each of the writer's journeys, and that this book has given so much hope to others. Those are all direct quotes from the reviews on Amazon. Amanda's chapter is called Keep Moving Forward, chapter 19 in Absolute Will. Welcome, Amanda.
Oh, that's just like made me very emotional. It's just amazing, isn't it?
It is. It truly is. And when I, even though I've, been talking about this now for like weeks and weeks, I still
it don't feel that long since we all got together and decided to do it. It was just like, It's nearly a year since you decided that's what you were doing.
Yes.
Oh God, it's crazy.
It really is. And I still get chills just talking about how this has come together, because really I couldn't have anticipated what we've done with it and all of the different authors that came together in this. So yeah, so thank you for being here. Thank you for being in the book. So can you tell everyone a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what your chapter is all about in Absolute Will?
Yes, so my name's Amanda Ibbotson. I'm 41. I'm a busy mum of 3 grown-up-ish children, aged 21, 17 and 12. Wife to John, and I live in Leeds in the UK. When I was introduced to you by a lovely lady on Instagram. She actually tagged me in a post that you'd done, saying, you were putting this collaboration together, and these are the kind of things you were looking for. And at first I was just like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure about that, because I'm in the health and wellness industry. I've got hypothyroidism as well, so I kind of fit your bill as far as diseases went. And I have struggled for that for around, from having my son, so 17 years. But I'd never really thought much of it until around 2 years ago when I actually started my health journey and decided to share it. I was very overweight, tired. I wasn't well at all. It makes me a little bit sad thinking about it, because I just literally painted a smile on my face and just got on with my life, because I just didn't think anything could be done. I just had to take my tablets. But also, I'd lost my dad 5 years previous when I seen your post, and I'd struggled a lot through with the grief of losing him, which also heightened my hypothyroid symptoms. Any kind of upset or anything that affects your whole body can affect your illnesses, you know. So I was in a bit of bad shape when I came across yourself. I'd started my journey, it was about a year into my journey when I came across your post, and it took me a couple of days, and I just thought, you know what, I can do this. And I'm a very big believer in being real and honest as well. So I not only do share health tips, mental health tips, the mind, the body, the soul, morning routines, good foods to eat, bad foods to eat, everything that you can think of, I kind of mix it up. I also thought, why not share the bad as well? Because I know there's so many people out there, not just women, but I know it's kind of, a lot of women do listen and feel how I do, and they do relate. So I thought, well, why not share the bad? But I'd not really spoken much about my dad, and I'd only kind of been sharing about my illness for about a year. So when I got the opportunity to do this with 20 other inspiring women and these stories, I've read this book about 4 times now. Obviously I did the ebook as well, but they're just, you need tissues. They're so sad but so amazing and so relatable at the same time. There were a lot of ladies who I related to who have written in this book as well. So, but yeah, that's just a little bit about me, and that, you know, the struggles that I have gone through, and still to this day I do share. And I think being ourselves, you know, I think people do relate better to us when we're being honest and when we're being ourselves, you know, and sharing the good as well as the bad. And then obviously doing this book has it's been amazing, but it's also opened my eyes to future possibilities as well, you know, trying to get past that fear and yeah, so yeah, it's just been amazing so far.
That's awesome. And I love the fact that, you know, you're linking how the passing of your dad really kind of, you know, affected your hypothyroidism as well. So I think a lot of times we try to kind of compartmentalize these things, but you know, the human body is all interconnected. And you know,
I really see it as a bit like a spider web when something's touched in the body, whether it's your mind, your body, soul. If your emotions are heightened, you're angry, you're upset, it affects everything, and it kind of just vibrates through your body, and it can cause so much, you know, when you're so down all the time, and like if you're grief stricken, or you know, you're going through depression or mental health, being in a certain low vibe all the time and being so emotional, and this is me personally, but I do know there's so much backed by science, by so much out there, and it does prove, it does heighten your illnesses. It can cause illnesses, you know, when you're not looking after you. If you don't feel well within yourself, in your mind, you're not eating well, you're not exercising, you're not looking after yourself. So, and then in time, diseases, you know, they're just, unfortunately, they do develop through not looking after ourselves properly.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you first found out about this collaboration, when you were tagged in that post, what made you decide, you know, after giving it a couple of days to think about it, what made you decide to just jump into this?
Well, firstly, I knew After I'd received an email from you explaining everything what was going on, I think the fact that what you were doing, you know, charity wise, that we were going to be building this home for a family, just like blew my mind. I thought, oh my God, that's just amazing, because I love helping people. I help people by sharing information. I help them by helping them start a health journey and putting themselves first. And I share all kinds of things every day. But this was something that I could not ever personally do on my own. So it was an amazing opportunity. It was something that I probably wouldn't have ever thought possible to do alone. So to be able to be a part of something so big, well, it just did it for me. So it was a definite yes. It took me a few days. I knew it was a yes anyway, but I was just like trying to beat the fear of, oh God, what will people say? You know, because you do. It's just one of those things. It naturally, your brain starts to protect you, and it's like, no, you can't do it, but you can. So it was just beating that fear and just doing it anyway, really.
I love that, because I had those same fears before even jumping like into the project and announcing it. Like I had said, I had started thinking about this back in January, and then I think basically I was just too scared to actually decide to go for it.
Yeah, it's the thought of failure, I think, isn't it? I think that's what does it for a lot of people. I know it did when I started my own business online. I was just very much, oh God, what if I fail? What if I, and you do, I think it's just a natural response, isn't it? When you know you're going to do something a little bit scary, but you know it's going to be amazing. You know that it's going to be able to reach so many people that it could potentially change people's lives, or depending on what you're doing. But you just automatically think, I'm going to fail. And you just get really scared. Yeah.
Absolutely. So everyone's experience is different when it comes to writing. What was the actual writing process like for you? And did anything surprise you as you were writing your chapter?
Yes, it did. I did find it difficult at first. I'm not very illiterate, if that's the right word for it. I didn't really do well in school. If my English teacher could see this right now, that I have actually wrote a chapter in a book, she'd be like, what? Amanda Burns, which is my maiden name, my dad's name, has written a chapter in a book. I don't think so, because I was so bad. Like, my spellings, everything. It was. I did find it found it difficult at first, but I will say this, Jo, you were absolutely incredible, and I'll be forever grateful for it, because you did really, really help me. I mean, I did reach out a lot, but the guidance that you gave, and we've got our own little group for us all on Facebook, so we did connect together and we did share things and we did ask for advice, and it opened me up to different ways about it. I don't know if this is the right way of putting it, but the language to use, because I'm from quite a very big council estate in Leeds, in Seacroft, Leeds, in the UK, and we don't own our own home, and I am on a council estate. But I think sometimes people who don't come from a very wealthy background or have had a lot of struggles through their life, they can still do this. So for me, this was a massive milestone. I mean, it makes me emotional. A really huge milestone, and it was dedicated to my dad as well, and that's what got me through it. So I did find it difficult, but I knew that I could do it, and I had the guidance there. I've been brought in. People have been brought into my life for a reason, for me. So me and you were meant to meet. This was meant to happen. I've got this guidance, and it can point you into any direction that you want to go. So this is kind of only the beginning for me. Like, I started my online business, never thought that this had ever never happened, but I kind of found my forte, where actually, I have got hypothyroidism, I have got an invisible illness, I have suffered with grief from my dad, I did struggle a lot, so, but there's no reason why my life just had to stop, why I couldn't find success, why I couldn't meet such inspiring people that have done it themselves, why no one would relate to me. So for me, it was difficult, but I've proved to myself that we can do anything. I can do anything that I want to put my mind to, and so can anybody else as well. So I did find it a little difficult at first, And you know, the language side, different kinds of words to explain things. Obviously, we had a certain word count, so that was absolutely like excruciating for me, because I was just like, I can just talk all day and all night, motor mouth. And obviously, pen to paper, you just going with it and go. But having your guidance really made me realise, you know, that we do repeat a lot of things as well. And there's different ways to explain things, different words to use, which I've learned so much. And then I found really difficult. I did struggle with it a bit, but I persisted and I took that time out to sit back and have a little bit of a rest. The time that we got to do it were enough time, I thought. I struggled putting pen to paper and writing about my dad and the day that I lost him, and up until right up until now, writing the book, writing the chapter. It was very emotional, but it has been something I needed to do. I really needed to do it, because I've kind of self-helped myself. I've done a lot of mindset work, self-development. I found meditation. I found other things that helped me. Did try to go to a counsellor, to have a little bit of help from that side of things, but never found that I could do it. What I have found now is I do feel like I'm ready to do that. So this has been a really incredible journey for me over the past 6-7 months. It's pushed me very much out of my comfort zone, to get that proper help, because although I've been helping myself, I still know that I need a bit of professional help, properly, because I'm not qualified to tell people how to grieve or what's best or whatever, but I know that a professional can do that for me. And I do strongly advise anybody, that is struggling with grief to go, when you're ready, to go seek that professional help, because that's what it's there for. But this has helped me do that, and before I was adamant that I did not want professional help, but I do feel ready now. But writing that and then reading it back, and also getting my beautiful friend in Australia, who did a little bit of a proofread for me, and my husband as well. It took him a while, but he did have a look through it. I didn't really want to ask family, so my husband and my friend really helped, and they were very emotional reading it too. So it's really, really helped me move forward a lot, by getting it down onto paper. It's just amazing how it can help you.
Wow, that's incredible. So what do you think the connection was between writing this chapter and making the decision that you want to go to counselling now? Was there a certain...
Because I knew, and even still now, I really struggle. Like, we've just passed the 26th of November, so that's actually my dad's anniversary of his death. So it was 6 years this month. And it's so tough. I still have those really hard days. I mean, it's 6 years on. But being able to write this book and to share everything I've done that's helped me made me realise that actually, it is time now to really do it properly. I mean, it's really hard. I guess it's a bit of a taboo subject, because some people deal with grief really well. Some people deal with their illnesses really well, and I didn't. So I thought I was just going to be like that forever, just really just like struggling through life and being really negative and nasty. That's what I was doing. I was drinking a lot. But I do still sit back into those steps sometimes. So although I've come quite far, there is the littlest things, sometimes every other month or every 6 months, maybe, that I'll just cry all day. But since writing this book, I can read that chapter back and not as if it's not me, because I know it's me, but to remind myself of what I've done, because although over the past 6 years, I have worked a hell of a lot. I've changed my lifestyle. I'm a different person, really. I'm still me, obviously, but I'm a lot more optimistic. I'm not as angry. Sometimes I do. The head can just, but I've got to remember breathing and my meditation and, looking after myself, number one. But having this in my hand is because there's other chapters in there as well. And reading, you know, there's other people that have actually gone through worse than us, but it's made me realise that actually I can speak about it now, because when like I'm speaking like this, I'd cry. It does still make me very emotional sometimes, but I used to be really bad. Like I couldn't speak I couldn't share anything. So this has contributed massively to my progression, like and in an insane way. It's been a bit of therapy. Is that the word for it?
That's amazing.
Been therapy for me. Yeah.
That is just remarkable.
Yeah, it has.
So powerful. So now, based on this experience, do you think that you'll ever want to write your own book in the future, or maybe be in another collaboration at some point?
Yes, definitely, without a doubt. So I'll only speak about it briefly because my brother might not want me to speak about it. But on the same date, my dad passed away, so the 26th of November. Last year would have been 5 years. We actually lost my niece. She was only 11, Grace Lily. And the same day that my dad had passed away as well. So that just completely blew my mind. And all that hard work that I'd done, and this was before the collaboration, mind. So I knew I'd always wanted to share. I did still share it before that. And I did, speak to a lot of people. Once I had shared, I had a lot of people reaching out to me. But when we lost Grace, obviously the same day as my dad, all that hard work that I'd done working on my mind, I found myself kind of just really wanting to be there for my brother, wanting to hold him up, probably smothering him at the same time, I should imagine, worrying about him. But it brought everything back, like those first early days, the not sleeping, the not eating, like everything that I had learned, everything that I speak about in this book, the morning routine that I just believe everybody needs just to, to start you up for the day, to have an amazing day. Everything that I'd done just completely went out the window. So after Christmas, after a funeral, and as families over the past year, it's just been awful. Like I can't even begin to even explain to anybody what it feels like. But it's just horrendous, just as families just completely, broken, falling apart. I mean, we all love each other, but it's just been so overwhelming, the emotions and the grief that comes with it. So when it got to kind of like January, February time, March time, this came at a really, sounds ridiculous, but an ideal time for me. We're kind of like, right, I've got to get back into what I was doing before, because the grief was just consuming me. And my daughter Scarlett was very, very close to Grace. They've been brought up together, and she spent a lot of time with us. And my dad as well. That was still in the forefront of my mind as well. So for me, it kind of pushed me. I kind of pushed myself into this, really, because I thought, I've got to do it for my dad. I need to get it on paper. I need to share what I've done to help me, because I know it'll help other people. But then, of course, I had Grace in my mind as well. So I kind of did it for both of them, because it's so hard. I mean, losing a parent is horrific. Losing anybody that you're close to, but losing a child is just horrendous. And her mum and my brother, it was, and Charlotte, my brother's partner, it's been awful. And both sides of the families, obviously, Grace's mum and her dad. There's so many people that loved her. It's brought so much back to the surface of how short life is, how things can just change like that. So it's brought a lot of change again for me, because I've spent quite a good few months in the background. I've not been live as much. I'm noticing now, whereas before I never really noticed. Whereas now I'm noticing the bad days more, but I do share the bad days more. So I had a bit of a moment the other day, and I did share on my social media, on Facebook and on Instagram as well. And I do share that, we do have those bad days. And I think so many people do relate because they don't speak out, they kind of hide, and that's what I did for a long time. For a good few years, I kind of just painted a smile on, and I was fine. But then I wasn't at home. I was just a mess. I just want myself at all. So for me, this book has kind of opened up my mind a lot, and also the possibilities of what we could do, of what I could do, because there's no reason why I can't write my own book. I mean, from birth to now, a lot's happened in my life. Excuse me. A lot of people who know me personally know that I have been through a lot. I have, but I don't talk about it a lot. I don't share everything. And I know there's people who have been, I've had some like family members saying, well, people have been through worse than you. What makes you think you can write a book, kind of thing? And I'm just like, well, I've done it. So I've wrote a chapter. I have collaborated with 20 other 20 other incredible women, and we have published it. So there's no reason why I could write a book, or any of these ladies for that matter, that they could do that. And it's pushed me a lot to know that I can do that now. I've had the little bit of the experience, although I did struggle a little bit with the literacy side, but with the guidance that we had from you, the things that you shared, saved them all. So it's been an eye-opener.
That's amazing. You really have been through an awful lot, and to still have the mindset that you have, and the desire to help other people through this kind of thing while you are still going through it, that is, really commendable. Yeah.
And I must stress this as well. It's not that I know exactly what's going to help everybody who's grieving for a parent, a grandparent, the child. It's not about that. It's sharing our own personal experiences and what has helped us. So it's not that we're telling people what to do. It's that we're just simply sharing. That's it. So we're sharing our experience. We're sharing as the good, the bad, the ugly, and what's helped us. And then, if people decide, well, actually, I might try that. And if this hand gets into 100 people's hands, which it already has, but if it gets into thousands, and they even came across my chapter or anybody else's in this book, it's not just by one person. So for me, this is just like gold dust, because it's got so many different stories in there, from all kinds of different women from all different backgrounds, and we are all completely different as well, which I love.
I love that too. So what is your top piece of advice for someone who might be thinking that they want to become a published author?
Is just do it. Like, do your research, but there's so much out, like for you, example of you, and how you've done this is just like you've learned from the past, and but you've shared it with us, and I know that you may be doing something soon as well, with helping people, which I will be taking you upon, I'm sure, in the future. But just to do it, just to get pen to paper, and just don't think about what other people might think, like your close friends, your families, because that did irritate me a little bit, doubting myself, what other people would think or say, and it goes much deeper than that. It's who is it going to help? Sharing your story. Who is that? Whose lives will it change? If if they can share everything they've been through, but they've got through the other end, and they put pen to paper and they write a book, you just never know what could happen. It could just explode. It could just go insane. So be scared. Do it scared. Just get that scare and just go for it, and just beat the fear and do it anyway.
I love that. And such good advice, because that's pretty much what I had to do as well. And I think what all of us had to do, because each author has talked about, their nervousness. Like you've said, we have this self-doubt that is almost just ingrained in us, right?
It's just crazy. I need to talk about this really briefly, because I know you wanted to keep it at a certain length of time.
No, keep talking.
Manifestation is just something that I only learned a little bit about at 2 years ago when I started meditating. And I've got my vision board in front of me, and on my list is to write a book. kind of been ticked off because obviously it's not a book, it's a chapter, but it's in a book. So I have started the process of writing a book, and I manifested that. And manifestation is real. And obviously, Joe, because we had these conversations so much, like, I'm manifesting that we will have 21 authors of a collaboration, and you have done it. You know, and I think that's amazing. So well done, pat on back. But yeah, we do need to speak about that, because when I first were opened up to manifestation and wanting to create a life that I'm happy with, that I've got, you know, not just about money, but life in general, and places I want to visit, and traveling the world, and my children, a home, whatever that looks like to somebody, how you want your life to be, and the people in it and who you surround yourself with, is manifestation. It's just insane. It's been amazing.
It's insane, but in such a great way.
In a great way.
It's really hard to wrap your head around it, right?
Yeah, it is. So go Google it or speak to Joe.
So what else are you up to, and what's next for you?
Well, so I have got my own online business. It's health and wellness. So I'm helping women, like, with the health. I was into coaching women to be more confident, and I've kind of took a step back, I think, since writing this book and what I do every day to help people with the health. It's completely changed my direction in a good way, you know, because I was still a little bit doubtful with things, and I just thought, no, there's just so much, you know, you just can't put your fingers on it, but, you know, you just like let it go, let the universe take over, guide the way for you. So for me, I think definitely writing a book is on the cards, and being truthful and honest about a lot of things, which I know will help women, busy mums in general, with health, with mind, with anything, but definitely helping more women, I guess, build the confidence to start a health journey, because, oh my God, these past few years, it's just like life is just way too short. I mean, I'm 41 now. My dad was 59 when he passed away, and with, you know, losing our Grace, she's 11. It's just like, oh wow, I just want to enjoy my life. I want to have all the good. I want to see the world. I want to see my children grow. I'm going to be a grandma as well.
Amazing. Congrats.
Yes, my daughter Sophia's expecting a baby. We don't know what sex it is yet. I'm not bothered, but we will have a new bouncing baby, 5th generation, that will join us in April. So there's so much, and it's just like, oh my God, I just want to have the best life. I want to have no regrets. I want to try different things. I want to, you know, I just want to experience life, but in the best way possible. And obviously, this day and age, I think, and especially for me, because I did it for so long, I just literally went day to day, and I was so unhappy, and I was so down, and I let the simplest of things, the smallest of things, just hold me back. And yeah, so there is a lot that any of us could share, really, because we're very tough on ourselves. I think we're very hard on ourselves, and life's too precious for anything else other than being happy and just sharing everything that could possibly help anybody. I think just helping people in general. I mean, this collaboration for me is just amazing. What we are going to be able to do is just insane. I'd never have done that on my own, but I want to be able to do things, you know, to be able to give back as well. I think the amount of help, you know, that I've had off people over years, that even if it's just a cuddle or a nice message or little things like that, but to give back and to be able to help people actually, you know, with money or with building them a home, you know, different countries around the world, where, you know, where they are really, really struggling. I think to be able to do things like that is just, that'd be mind-blowing.
That's incredible. So if you have enjoyed getting to know more about Amanda and want to connect with her, you can find her on Facebook at AJ Ibbotson, and on Instagram, Amanda_Jane_Ibbotson. Amanda, thank you so much for being in this collaboration. And thank you for your time today. I truly admire your honesty and your vulnerability in what you've shared in your chapter. And I am so grateful to have connected with you and to have your story in Absolute Will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, we'll see you later.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.